When we stand for the pledge, everyone please remain standing.
Not paying attention. There we go.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting. It's Wednesday, April 12th, 2017. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing afterwards, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the passing of two Dayton residents. First is David Dutra. Dave was the youngest child of Frank and Mary Dutra, brother of John Dutra, for the only person we lost in the Korean War, that we have the memorial at the Main and Pleasant Street intersections. David's one of his brothers. And he is also the uncle of former Selectman Tom Pius. And the other individual is John Collard, who ran Johnny's Market in North Dayton for well over 30 years. And what I remember about Johnny Collard is he was in the class of 1960, the last class out of Old Dayton High School. And I remember he was involved with a lot of sports and activities. So if we could have a moment of silence for both of these gentlemen, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, first up on the agenda this evening in terms of business is to discuss the reorganization of the Board of Selectmen. So at this time, I guess I will open up the discussion and open up for nominations for our new chairman.
The first thing you have to do is declare all positions vacant.
Excuse me, correct. So at this time, I will declare all positions vacant. And now we will open up the discussion and nominations for the next chairman of the Board of Selectmen. Do I have any nominations? Okay, at this time, I will step down and nominate Mr. John Taylor as chairman of the Board of Selectmen. Is there anyone to second that?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nay? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
And at this time, I will, yes, correct.
Great. Do you want to switch seats?
Thank you.
Before we get into the business of the meeting, I just want to say a couple things. First of all, I want to thank all the voters that came out on last Saturday to vote. Very important right that we have, and I'm glad people came out for it. Second thing, I'd like to thank Dean Cronin. Dean was on this board for 6 years, and he, any elected official or anybody that volunteers or is elected to positions for that long a period of time deserves a lot of credit. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for people that are willing to do that kind of thing. So I want to thank Dean and commend him for his service to Dayton. Maybe I'll do the rest at the end. But okay, why don't we move on? Let's might go a little bit out of order here.
You got to finish the organization of the committee.
I'm sorry.
You need a chairman of the Board of Health, you need a clerk for both boards, and you got to appoint a personnel officer.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll step down and nominate Selectman Graffis as the clerk of this board.
I'll second it.
Got a motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You need to do the Board of Health also? Okay. The next order of business is to elect the chairman of the Board of Health, since at this point the Board of Health and the Board of Selectmen are the same committee. So I'm open for nominations.
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Selectman Goulart to be chairman of the Board of Health.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Do we need a clerk for that?
No, Brett is the clerk for both boards.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to nominate you as Personnel Officer.
I second that.
Great. Yes.
That was our reaction last year.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Okay, the motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think that's all we have to do to
Yes.
reorganize.
Yes, we're all done.
So let's, we have a Boy Scout here who wants to make a presentation, so why don't we do that? So why don't you introduce yourself and...
My name's Owen Conti. I'm a Life Scout in Troop 45, North End. And I'm here to share with you my proposed plan for an Eagle project for the town.
Okay.
So if you flip to the second page, most of the information regarding the project is on that page.
So why don't you go ahead and describe so everybody can...
So
can get-
basically, I want to provide an accurate listing and map of veterans in the public cemeteries in the town using GPS units and GIS software, so it's like on the internet based.
Great.
Currently, there's no accurate list or plot to scale or anything. It's kind of just all like big jumbled mess, so it'd be really helpful to have a whole list of all of it.
I know we have the names in all the cemeteries, but
Yeah,
where they
it's
are
where
is
they
a
are.
big
Like if
question.
someone went up to
Sometimes
Mr. Hershey and said, "Where is my veteran buried?" He would have to say, "I'm not sure."
Come with
we'll
me.
go through a lot of paperwork, yeah. Okay.
So my question is, this little diagram here,
Yes.
that's the layout for all of the plots?
That's like an example. That's an example of
And then
a type of
as
GIS.
each plot has somebody interred, you would enter the name? Is that how you
have
do
the
it?
name. You could tag any sort of information that you wanted into it, like the day they passed away or the day they were born, other information.
What wards they were in or what they were
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
So if this were the diagram of our veteran cemetery down on, near the community church, Don could go online and he could see, if somebody were looking for a lot, you could tell them what was available, what's open, and so forth and so on?
Correct.
This map is the map that we currently use. This is drawn up 11 years ago by Dave Phillips and Dave Marvel. It's a good map, it's comprehensive, there's 53 cemeteries on it, but it's not drawn to scale. It was used, the closest house numbers were used as a location for these graves, and in a lot of places, that doesn't work anymore, it's just too far away. So what we need is a map to scale with the GIS that would tell us who is, and we had, is the cemetery, not East Cemetery, I'm sorry. When we originally talked about that, but that was very comprehensive, and as the time allowed, it's going to be a few larger public cemeteries.
Yep.
Like Riverside
Yep.
Unitarian Church, where the largest numbers of veterans are.
Can I ask a question, Owen? Is your plan to have, obviously Mr. Hershey would have a copy of your finished product in the Veterans Office, but
Yeah.
is this something we would also put on our website so that
Yeah,
people
you
could
could-
just easily?
The town already has a GIS page on the website, so we could just tag, I assume we could just put that in there somehow.
As another, as another feature.
I think with the system we might be able to use, you could also print out a full, like a big map,
Yeah.
and you could see each individual veteran in the town that I bought.
Very nice.
Where did you get this idea from?
I realized that Mr. Hershey needed help finding, he really needed help with identifying veterans and stuff like that. And my Scoutmaster did a grave plotting project when he became Eagle too, so.
Yeah, 'cause, I was a veterans agent at one time, and I know when Memorial Day comes, just relying upon where the flag was last year to put another flag down. So, you're pretty certain that that was a veteran, but
Yeah.
this will be great. Okay.
So will this be, once the data is collected and stored, will this be available to the public?
Yes.
In other words, if I were from out of town looking for a relative, I could go online and find...
If they're a veteran, that's what I plan. I plan to only plot the veterans.
Exactly, exactly.
But if we put it on the town
And on the
website,
website,
then
yeah.
it'll be available to anybody that wants to see it. Great. Okay, I guess, do you have anything else, sir?
I just need your signature approving my project on this page.
This is just for the chairman or for the board?
For the
Chairman.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion. I'm going to make a motion that we tentatively approve the Eagle Scout project of Owen Conti.
I'm going to second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If none, then all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. So what do you need?
This box right here.
I guess I can just sign it as the chair.
So, Owen, what this means is, the tentative approval means roughly midway through the project, you should give us a progress report, and then when you come in to do the final, when you have your book and everything else ready to go, that'll be the final approval, okay?
All right. And I'm supposed to provide you with this little package of information.
Okay,
Working with those guys as opposed to.
okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'll give that to
Nice
Karen
meeting you.
to say. Owen? Congratulations.
I think I'm going to back up a little bit because I wanted to say a couple other things. One is, in my campaign, I made the statement that your agenda is my agenda, and I want to live by that. And so, in order to do that, we need to hear from residents about what's on your mind, what concerns you have, and that kind of stuff. So, I want to encourage people to come to these selecting meetings and just let us know what you think. Don't assume that the three of us know what all of you think out there. So come and share it with us, and we'd be more than happy to entertain you and talk about whatever you want. And in order to do that, I think we're going to change the agenda around a little bit. What I'd like to do is put public input first. We'll have public input at the end also. But so if somebody wants to come down and just, talk for 5 minutes or spend 15 minutes down here, they can do that, and not have to wait through the whole meeting until we get to the end. So, again, I encourage you to come down and participate. I want to, the other thing I said, I want to give you an opportunity to participate in town government, a better opportunity. So we need to hear how we can do that. Usually there's nobody at these selectmen meetings, so we want to kind of change that. Get people to come down and just, share your views with us, or say hello or whatever. But, okay, so I encourage that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the next,
Good luck.
can we go get them to come in? The next item on the agenda is a quarterly meeting with Rehoboth Board of Selectmen, and a report by Michael McBride from the Deregionalization, Full Regionalization Review Committee. So, there
Which is not a part of the Board of Selectmen.
No.
Mr. Vadney. Thank you.
Oh,
You look familiar.
first of all, who am I congratulating? The man in the middle? He said that's usually the chairman's seat.
Thank you.
He's our new chairman, Mr. Vadney.
How did you get out of this?
I'm chairman of the Board of Health.
Oh, all right.
She didn't get out.
And you're the clerk, and yes, you're correct.
She knows more than I do.
How you doing?
Okay, I'd like to welcome the Board of Selectmen from Rehoboth. Mr. Vadney, Mr. Perry, and
Mr.
Mr.
Schwab.
Schwab.
And Jim Murray.
Jim Murray, okay.
Jim Murray, for the record. Jim, you have something in common. You're both our newbies. You're a newbie, he's a newbie.
It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Who's your other member?
Huh?
Who's the other member? Is it Sue?
Yeah, Sue couldn't be here this evening.
Okay.
Okay, so we're waiting for a report from Michael McBride on the regionalization.
We,
Go ahead.
can do a little
Go
bit.
ahead,
So
yes,
we, the town of Rehoboth and the town and Dayton, met quite a while ago, and we decided to take a look at both sides of the coin, a total regionalization, a true total regionalization, where everything was totally regionalized with the buildings and everything. Particularly, we were both looking at building projects and things like that, and the only way to really get them funded now through the state in great amounts of money is through a region. And then the other was the other side of the coin, which is what happens if we de-regionalize, because we appointed, Dayton appointed some people, we appointed some people, and we have some conclusions here. We haven't heard the report. Sue and Mike McBride attended all the meetings, and they're going to present us with their findings
Skip, how long ago was this committee formed?
2 years? Okay, almost 2 years ago. They've been working on it. What I'd like to do, can they pick up what they say from over there? Which I don't mind.
He can stand here at the podium.
Okay.
Yes, Bristol Plymouth made that. One more, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm a little, I'm new to this, obviously. It's my first night. So could you tell us a little bit about, who appointed this committee? And who's on this committee?
Well, the boards of Dayton and Rehoboth, approximately a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And there were originally 3 members from each town. And I think one of the Dayton members shifted over to Finance Committee.
Okay.
And that left 2, and then one of the Rehoboth members resigned. And that left 2 Dayton members and 2 from Rehoboth.
Okay.
And it just seemed like things kind of petered out.
Okay, could you give us the names of the committee? Because it must have been appointed before I came on, because I didn't come on in April, I came on in September.
Originally, there was
Excellent.
Scott Dingus.
Okay,
You know Scott.
yes, he's Finance Committee, yes.
And Allison Adams.
I don't know her, okay.
And Ailish Welch
They're from, the first two are from Dayton?
from Dayton.
Okay.
So then it was me and Mr. Solis. And originally Kate Farrington.
Did those individuals, I assume they voted on the report that you're presenting tonight, right?
No. So as time went on, I contacted the 2 remaining Dayton members about 9 months ago to find out if they had been reappointed and, trying to reignite our committee and get some work done. I received a response from neither.
So who's the chair of the committee?
Mr. Solis.
That was me,
Was you?
and I was appointed on the RAC committee.
Right.
And at the time, with all the discussion about what the school systems would look like, would it be full region? Would there be, the way we currently do it now? Would it be part of, or would, K-8 be separate in both school systems? All of that was being discussed in the RAC committee meeting. It was almost redundant with, if that RAC committee meeting had come to a conclusion with all the things that maybe the towns would agree upon.
Right.
And that meeting, how long did it take, Chris? 2 years? 2.5 years. That was going on in parallel. And So that's when Mike picked up on it and ran with it.
I guess I have a little concern that, that you're coming as a member, but your committee hasn't really endorsed what you're about to talk to us about.
I have a big concern with that. If, for
Has the committee
example,
disbanded?
Selectman Goulart went to a Board of Selectmen meeting in Rehoboth and presented a report that I hadn't seen and hadn't endorsed, I would take issue with that. I have to be honest about that.
Because
What this is, I haven't heard this. When they came to us, said they had some information for us, I said, well, we don't want to hear anything. We appointed together, we will, hear whatever you have to say together. This isn't, what they have ended up with is simply some information. And for us not to have the information would be a mistake. We're not being asked to do anything. All we're doing is being informed of what they know. I think the committee is pretty much, they've concluded their business, which was looking into providing us with information. We're not being asked to do anything. So think of it as just someone is.
Is this like fact-finding? They went out and investigated,
That's all it
and
is.
this is what
That's
came
all
out
it
of
is.
it?
There's
It was primarily
no,
because-
there's no conclusions here, and there's no, as far as I understand, so I just looked at it, they're not saying what's good, what's bad, we were asked, question was, what are some of the benefits of increasing the bond of the region, and what are some of the, if any, what are some of the benefits and/or deficits in separating the K through 8, which we have an opportunity to do as two communities. And that's all it is. It doesn't recommend one way or the
No,
other.
I understand. I guess my concern is that there's no benefits in here for keeping things the same. So it feels to me personally like it's weighted in the direction of changing something,
I don't know. I'm seeing it for the first time also.
which is
So I'm
another
curious.
issue that I have.
well, I'd like,
Could I just ask a question? Mr. Andre?
Yes.
Has the school committee seen or gotten any information on this, or this will be the first time you hear it also?
Tonight, you don't have any idea what's in the report.
I feel,
I don't want to shoot you down, but my feeling is the towns need to know, but I would be more comfortable if at least the school committee knew what was in here as our elected representatives. Not that I'm asking them to do anything either, but, and I realize that the boards of selectmen appointed members to the committee, but because it involves the school system, I don't know if a joint presentation could be held at a school committee meeting that the boards of selectmen could attend, but,
That's entirely up to you. The committee, we were charged by the board. The committee kind of petered out.
yeah.
I felt like I was obligated to get some kind of report back.
oh no, and I understand that, I understand that.
So,
I'm just questioning because of what I just found out. And I don't remember appointing anybody, but I came on in September, not April. So that's why I'm thinking, obviously because it involves the schools, just I'll call it just a fact-finding report about our school system. I would be more comfortable at a joint meeting with the school committee, or if we can't arrange that, at least the school committee first get this report, and then the board of selectmen. But
'Cause I think
your feelings, Mr. Andre, as far as a presentation to the full school committee and the boards of selectmen, all at the same time?
Well, certainly we'd be happy to hear the information. I think what you said before was pertinent. It was a board established between the two towns to be somewhat impartial, so it's not involving the committee to make, decisions and do some fact-finding. So I would respect the fact that you probably are fine hearing that on your own and/or to the committee. I do agree more with the other consensus, which is it's not a report of the committee if it's just one person making the report. And to hear that there's all, negatives on it is kind of surprising because my research really flips it away. There's mostly negatives to deregionalize with lots of.
Has there been any public I'm sorry.
I didn't say there were negatives, I just said there was no mention of what the benefits are for not changing the system the way it is, that's all.
Has there been any public hearings about this, or input from other,
About this?
yeah?
Not that I know of.
When was the last time you met? Your committee? Whatever was left.
It's been a long time ago. Like I said, there was in parallel the RAC committee.
Yeah.
And if the RAC committee had done something had come to a conclusion, then essentially what we were looking to do wouldn't have been as pertinent, because the agreement then would have defined how the schools would react with each other and regional, or keep it the same way it is. So that was being done in parallel. But there is no functional committee for him to go and anybody to approve.
So I guess then the question is, this will be information, but it could be very incomplete information, or information that might change, because it doesn't sound like it's been through a process. If we need the committee, I think we should, both boards should reinstitute the committee.
Well, if I may, this is a joint meeting, and I would ask, we have to make a decision on this collectively,
Yep,
since we,
absolutely.
and your board has spoken as to what your feelings are, and I think that each of the selectmen in attendance should.
Are you posted?
I would agree, absolutely.
We are posted.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah. Been around too long not to do that one.
Always have the procedure first.
I'm done.
Talking about age.
I don't read
Yes,
this
sir.
as suggestions as to what route to take, or any suggestions in here at all. I see this as research coming up with the questions that have to be addressed,
Okay,
and in regards to what direction we go. I don't see this as a votable matter right here.
okay.
I just see this as an informational pamphlet. So I don't think there's anybody's opinion in here. I think it's just research the committee's done and the questions that have arisen from that research.
Okay. So is the consensus of the Rehoboth board that you want to go forward with?
Well, I don't
this?
know, it's the first time it's been discussed, it's here this evening, so it's
I
yet
know.
to be determined.
May I again address
Yeah, I just want to make a comment, because prior to me getting elected to the school committee, I was originally appointed to this committee as well with the members from Dayton, and when I had to go to the school committee, I resigned that, and that's when Scott came over. But again, to George's point, I think everything was on hold. I think everyone knows why this always comes up, and I think, again, not knowing what's in the report, it's very easy for, either side to make an argument one side or the other. So, again, I don't know how much involvement's been done from the Dayton side, how much is done on the other side, but I think what the two boards need to decide is seriously sit down and, do you want to revive that committee? Because there are benefits if we were, I had consulted with people from the state, if we were to look at, not so much, everyone keeps saying full regionalization, we are fully regionalized already, but the bigger step is, if you really want to take this seriously, go approach towns like Seekonk or Swansea and make a new region, and then you can really get funding for new buildings. But, then there's the other side, do the towns want to pull out? And if you're going to pull out, why do you talk K to 8 versus pull out K to 12?
I think I don't think that's beyond the scope of what we can do here today, I think.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
We're not discussing any of that.
I
No,
just,
but I'm saying I think the selectmen need to kind of maybe re-give the charge back to the committee.
Okay.
what,
I didn't mean to leave you guys out either. That
no,
wasn't an oversight.
did all of the school committee members know that there was going to be a presentation here tonight? Do you know?
We heard about it, but on one side, like, this has nothing to do with the school committee, so that's why.
No, but I'm just talking from a procedural standpoint, because it is directly related to schools. It's not a committee you appointed, but obviously it involves our school system, our mutual school system. So I'm thinking, if, Mr. Chairman, if you would, well, for those of you who are present, I'm just wondering if it would be good if this could be, this fact-finding, I'll call it a fact-finding report, could be presented at a school committee meeting when it's known by, the public is aware of it, both towns, public, boards of selectmen can go, and do the other members that you had on the committee, do they know that you were going to be making a presentation so that they could be present?
Well,
I mean, other than Mr. Solz.
Again,
I want as many people as possible to hear the facts.
Nancy,
Yes.
I sent this email last July.
Okay, excuse me. Mrs. Kuchar would like to
My
speak.
only concern is that if it's presented at a school committee meeting, it was not something that was initiated by the school committee.
Correct.
So I wouldn't want it interpreted, if we talk about public hearing and if it's being held at the school committee, then it might be understood that, oh, this is
I'm not talking a public hearing,
So
but just a presentation with the school committee.
but by the same token, if I were a Rehoboth resident and found out that there was a presentation about something about the schools tonight in Dayton, I would be saying, I wish I knew about that, because I'd have gone, or what was that about? That's my only concern.
I think from what I've heard, I know the Rehoboth Selectmen want to hear this report, and I think that we should move forward, let you present your report, but not for discussion or argument, merely a presentation of the facts as you know them, and then
First airing.
yeah, but I think there's really no conclusions here or anything.
There's no conclusion.
So let's just hear the presentation you have. I don't think we need to discuss it, and then I think the committee needs to get back together, or, and come up with, or we need to appoint people, to come up with a plan so that we can move forward.
Well, again, I agree. I mean, our charge was from the Board of Selectmen.
Correct,
So I'm reporting back to the Board of Selectmen, and then you can
That's fine.
decide how you want to proceed from there.
that's fine. I'm new to all this, so, I'm not, don't have any background with this at all. So. You have the floor.
Okay, so, again, I realize that not a whole lot had been going on with this committee, so I kind of felt obligated to at least produce some kind of report to the Board of Selectmen. And we made an appointment to see Ms. Lynch at the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education in Malden on February 28th. And she was gracious enough to see us. So when we went in, my wife came along probably for a couple of reasons. One, to make sure I behaved myself, and the other because I don't think she had met Christine, and yet she'd heard a lot about her from her time spent with the Regional Agreement Amendment Committee, so she was kind of interested in meeting her. So the first thing that we discussed was further regionalizing K through 8, specifically the facilities. And Ms. Lynch said that we would have to work with the Massachusetts School Building Authority and go to their website to begin the process outlined on the website. There's an application process formula to receive funding for a new school. They would look into some of the MSBA would look into some of the following to see if we qualify for aid in building a new school. And we told Ms. Lynch that, we weren't sure at this point whether there was sentiment for constructing a new regional middle school, or a middle school and a K through 4, or a facility that would house all of them. That's not our decision. So the MSBA, she said that the MSBA would want to know about the condition of the existing schools, the projected enrollment. She said that building a so-called green school would give some added incentives from MSBA. And then she said, would we combine just the middle schools or build just one new school to house K through 8? And what happens to our existing schools? These are some of the things that they'd want to know about. She said this process takes much thought and planning, and a consultant might be needed. Our current agreement does not allow for students crossing town lines for education, except in special circumstances with the approval of the superintendent. This is now particularly problematic since Dayton has an urgent need for additional elementary school classroom space. Ms. Lynch commented that regionalizing doesn't always save money because the new district sometimes decides to add programs which can add to costs which each town may not otherwise have decided to implement if they were independent. And, Ms. Lynch focuses, her specialty is regional schools, so she's had a lot of experience with this type of thing. So then we went on to explain to her that there were some people that had talked about deregionalizing. And so we said we wanted to get some information regarding that process from her. She said if we deregionalize K through 8, we will still get state aid. Many of the monetary incentives we received when we first regionalized have now disappeared. We would still get the same state aid, however. It would be split into aid for each town's K through 8 and the regional high school. Now it comes in as a lump sum, and the school committee can decide how to use it. She said we would have to set up a school union, and then she gave us some additional points to consider. 3 school committees. How do we split up the work at the central office? 3 separate business offices, question mark. Do we keep one superintendent for both towns, or one special ed director? If so, how much would each town pay? Business office responsibilities would have to be worked out. We may have to return to the pre-1987 model. We would lose our transportation reimbursement for the K through 8s, but would still receive it for the high school.
Can I just stop you for 1 second?
Certainly.
Do you know off the top of your head what the reimbursement is for transportation?
34%. I think now it's down to 33 or 34.
Less, it used to be 80%. What's it now, Chris? 60?
60 something this year, it's between
Yeah.
800,000 and a million.
They play with that number a lot, don't they?
We're advocating for more, because it's supposed to be 100% now.
Okay.
It's a political football.
Yeah. As our all thanks to the state.
Ms. Lynch went on to say that the Commissioner of Education, has never approved a deregionalization initiative. However, at least with 3 other regional districts, the legislature has approved the deregionalization and can override the commissioner's decision. One thing the commissioner would ask all of us is how deregionalizing will make things better. Other than the transportation reimbursement loss for K through 8 and possible extra central office staff, Ms. Lynch didn't have any other compelling financial reasons why this couldn't be done. So we spent probably a little more than an hour with her. Very gracious woman and very patient with us, and she gave us some good information. I took the liberty in the interest of the Board of Selectmen's further edification to recopy a portion of a letter that was authored by Mac Reed, who was the Regional Agreement Amendment Committee consultant almost 2 years ago. And he says, I spoke with Chris Lynch today about what kind of language DESE would feel necessary to include in the DR Regional Agreement regarding a unilateral PK through 8 pullout by one of the towns. The issues we discussed follow. Expectations and outcomes must be clear. There needs to be a timeline by when a town must be notified that the other town is withdrawing from the regional PK through 8. An effective date for implementation of the revised region must be delineated. Language must be clear that the DESE commissioner must agree to the amended regional agreement by December 31st in order for it to be implemented on the following July 1st. This does not mean that the new amended region would have to be implemented on the following July 1st. Provisions must be spelled out to elect new PK through 8 school committees and how the new separate administrations will be initiated and organized. Language must spell out specifically what will be modified in the amended regional agreement. For example, all or most references to PK through 12 will need to be changed to 9 through 12. What happens to the building leases and so forth. The amended agreement must spell out how assets, for example, equipment, and liabilities, for example, debt, other post-employment benefits, and so forth, will be addressed. Although this does not have to be addressed specifically, it should be mentioned that state aid and minimum contribution shares will be determined by the state and may not match each community's expectations. So that's basically what we did. We tried to get some facts, and I mean, at this point, we, wait for the further direction from the boards as in the school committee and so forth as to whether they want to pursue following up with MSBA or, whatever their pleasure is. But at least I think this gives a little bit of a reference point, a starting point, a baseline, if you will. So.
Yeah, it's good information for me. Anyway.
Yeah.
The selectman from Rehoboth have anything on that?
Well, I think that you did exactly what we wanted. We wanted to know if that was a possibility, because there's always people talking about undoing the current agreement, and then there are those that would like to strengthen the agreement. So what do we do if we decided to and come together and build a regional school building that would be owned by the region, and that would incorporate middle school and maybe even down through the elementary school levels. This just tells us, I guess, what the system would be. So that's all I see it as being, is information.
Yeah.
Glad to have it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My statement's about the same. Like, what I see here is all the unknown questions that we had. This just kind of either opens up some new ones or it answers a few. But just enough to say, okay, we can take it to at least make a reasonable decision on what direction we're going to go.
Because I'm thinking, I'd like to go back and find the files and see what the charge was and a little bit of the background to it. Because I think the decision that both towns need to make, do we go forward with it? Do we reconstitute this committee and get down to the work and then figure out, how we proceed as far as bringing the school to the schools?
Yeah, I would think that before we did anything with this, that the boards of selectmen and the school committee would have to talk. That's what I would think. Wouldn't you guys agree with that? If we were going to go any further?
Yeah, I mean, that was a main comment. You got a point, Skip, but, as I said before, I think, you did mention to answer some questions, but there's a lot of things that are unknown. I still think what the board should do tonight, and I know, as mentioned, the RAC committee didn't fully get there, but we have a task force of the school committee trying to take it, as we mentioned, we're trying to get what we couldn't do and then bring it to the towns. But I think a good next step would be, as you guys, if you do it during your joint session, revitalize that committee. As people have moved out of town, maybe they get replaced, and there's a lot more information to look at, like I had mentioned, do you take it to the next level, do you do the pull out, and then we circle back. I mean, there is a lot of unknowns, and it's easy to quickly look, but there's a lot of downsides as well, so it's not something, I know when I was originally on the committee for a month or so, I contacted someone at MSBA, and there is funding, that I think these towns don't utilize. I didn't realize every percentage out of sales tax that the state collects goes into the MSBA funding, and you look at the 5 buildings we have compared to Somerset, Plymouth, we got buildings from the 50s, so we're not doing something right from a community perspective or district-wide.
You still have a contract, and you realize this, our regional contract is severely outdated. It has language in it that addressing organizations that no longer exist. It's too bad that we couldn't come to an agreement And maybe when a little bit of time goes by and we can rethink this, we can come back, because we were very, very close to an agreement.
To vote where?
And the towns came very, very close, and I think perhaps a revitalization with maybe some new eyes and new ideas, along with some of the, with the basis of some of us that have been there for 2 years, was it not? You guys were there for a while. And I think that, I want to say it was wasted time, it wasn't. We learned a lot, and we came very, very, very close to coming to a good agreement. And the dividing factor here, like in many marriages, had to do with money. And, but we were close, were we not? We came to the core of the thing. We came to what was called shared costs, centralized if you would, and we were going to come to some agreements on a 50-50 split of how certain things should be versus the 60-40 or whatever the other formula turned out to be that particular year. We were very close to agreement. Dayton and Rehoboth came very, very close, but because of I would call it a super vote that was required other than a majority, it didn't pass. So maybe if we rethought the way that we did it, because I'm going to say that the majority of both towns, if I say something you don't like, tell me. As soon as I say something that ain't right, tell me. Because, you know, I get a lot of things in this head, and it's getting awfully old. I think we had an agreement. The majority from Dayton and the majority from Rehoboth agreed. Did we not?
Right.
We required more than the majority to pass it. That's why I don't think that it's dead. I think it needs to be resurrected at some point in time. There's an awful lot of work that's been done. If we get back to it soon enough, it's still relevant. You wait too long, and what you got is history. It's dated. You got too much updating to do.
So Skip, just to update you, I don't know if you heard what it said. The school committee did establish a regional agreement amendment task force of 6 school committee members to review the draft that was left by the RAC committee and possibly make recommendations to the school committee. And
the school committee now has to come to the towns.
Right.
Sure.
And you know that's going to be tough unless I think what we had before was brought to the towns, could have passed, except there were some individuals that refused to stand and defend on both sides of the fence and defend some of the conclusions that we came to. And there was a lot of give and take here. There was some good horse trading done, was there not?
Right, and that's
Both sides.
right. To Chris's point, that's where we're basically picking up, and I don't expect much will be changed. And like you said, we'll get to discuss back and review.
I'll tell you right now, if we can come to agreements on the centralized costs that we talked about, it's a little close.
So I would suggest at this point,
I think that
maybe our board and your board should get together.
your representative on that board is no longer in office, but there was a selectman from your board that was there also, and should be. I think that you might have a subcommittee studying it, but I don't think you're going to take that product to a town meeting and see it fly. You got to get your boards of selectmen back in there.
Right, well, remember, like to Chris's point, we were all there, we know what it's gonna take, and don't be surprised, like you said, if the stuff that.
This board wasn't.
Yeah, right.
I'm talking about these guys.
Right.
And you've got to be comfortable what it is, because like it or not, you're involved in it.
So what I would like to propose is that we in this discussion, we get together with your board and maybe the school committee and kind of, I need to go back and do a lot of research, find out, what this is all about, and then get together and then come up with a plan to move forward, whether we want to do it with this committee or something else. That sounds reasonable?
This committee has really performed a function, and I think that we should thank this committee and dismiss this committee at this point in time. And if it comes to a point, they've answered our questions of what we have to do in order to expand it and what the process is, and also if we're going to go the other way, that's the process. That's all they're asked to do. They weren't asked to say whether it was
No, I
good or bad.
Right.
This other thing we're talking about is the big story. We've got to settle our differences between these two towns in order to continue as a region that's viable.
Absolutely.
And it's going to require, and we spent 2 years doing it. We had really good discussions, I would say, would you not?
Yeah, I agree with that, you're saying it's good.
But how are you going to get this board up to speed? You're going to give them the report, you know? I mean, how you
Give them the
gonna do
minutes
this?
from our meetings.
Huh?
We'll give them the minutes.
Oh, touche. Quite a joke, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, are there minutes?
Yes, there are.
So I think that would be a good,
And
so,
tapes.
Where's the minutes of this committee? I'd like to read those.
yeah.
The deregionalization committee.
Well, don't look at me, I'm a guest here.
Okay, let's do this. Let's get some information from the school committee about the regionalization issue, what you have, so you can come up to date on the issues. I feel like I'm unable to really respond to much of this because I don't know enough about it. So I would like to get back together with, I think we'd like to get back together with the selectmen from Rehoboth and have a joint meeting and kind of.
How about I propose this to you? How about you bring yourself as chairman up to speed where you're comfortable on what we have done for 2 years,
Yeah.
and then give me a call.
Okay.
And then we'll get our boards together and the school committee, and let's talk.
Right, I think to your point, the thing is, you can reach out to some of us, get up to speed. I think let this task force we have come, then before anything gets presented, we'll obviously go to the two boards, present, basically, probably like do what we went through before. Bring everyone up to speed, discuss it, go back and.
Okay.
I want something that's gonna work.
Oh, we
We're gonna
all-
get this done.
Skip, if I may, two things that we have to establish with this new committee is one, there has to be a timeline for their end product, because, as you said, we can't just let this continue going on and on and on forever. And the second is, they need to quantify. In other words, we need to see how much it's gonna cost us, either deregionalizing or remaining in the same situation.
Well, that's a different, what you're talking to, regionalization, deregionalization, is not the same thing that we're talking about with the contract. The contract has to be fixed because we have a contract, and it involves a high school. And so no matter what happens, that high school exists.
One is a more of a short-term issue and one is a longer-term issue.
Correct.
This regionalization.
Here's the thing, and let me talk about the elephant in the room, if I may. If we deregionalize, I've heard the number thrown out, $500,000 in savings for Rehoboth. Due to savings because we're no longer held to the state.
But can I just interrupt? I think we gotta be careful here.
Yeah.
We don't talk about anecdotal information that is not, and I understand the point you're trying to make, but let's get organized, let's look at this stuff. And then let's have a real
Everybody
meeting.
needs to understand that there's a very strong driving force here. This isn't something, we're talking about the color of the, of the boys' room walls or something like that. This is, we're talking major dollars involved here. And there's a huge incentive for Rehoboth to proceed with deregionalization.
But again, we need to look at all the facts, we need to get all the parties together, and we need to be, I don't know enough about it.
And I appreciate that.
So
I'm
let's-
just saying that it can't be something that drags on for
No.
for 3 years.
My feeling about committees is we need to appoint committees, we need to put a timeline on it. You can't draw and go, and then we need to accept what the recommendation is or reject it, and then move forward.
I don't think we need to appoint a committee.
No, maybe not, I don't know, so.
I'm serious when I say, you get yourself up to speed on what the work that was done by the committee. These guys are more than happy to provide you with the material. And when you're comfortable with that, then the chairman will talk as to what the differences are between our two towns. And then we'll decide, and you confer with your board.
Absolutely.
And I'll confer with my board.
There is one point though, because these two groups are not mutually exclusive. So I think whatever decisions that we make on one has to take into account the other. Particularly the new agreement going forward, we need to have an understanding of the other piece because the draft that I saw of the proposed regional agreement would tie things up so much that you would give away all your options going forward. I, for one, am never in favor of giving up options. So they're not mutually exclusive. The two committees need to continue their work, reestablish them, put people on there who are going to show up and not decide, you know what, it really doesn't benefit me, so I'm not going to show up for 9 months, and then discount the product of the work that the people who do show up present. So I would reestablish in both towns, reestablish them, set a timeline, give the objectives, and then move forward. So, because we need to get our arms around both of these understandings.
So I don't think we disagree with that. I think we need to first get up to speed and then get together again to determine how we want to move forward. Is that acceptable to you at this point?
Yeah, once again, let me be sure I'm absolutely clear.
Yep.
We're talking chairman and chairman.
Yep.
You're gonna catch up, and then
Yep.
we will, after you confer with your people, I
Yep.
confer with my people,
Yep.
then we will come and make recommendations as Jerry had just said.
Yes.
As to how to move forward. And after this board becomes totally comfortable of what work has already been done. Not that we agree on what's been done, but you understand it. So now we can continue the discussion and come up with a way of moving forward. Hey, my friend, how are you? How come you're not home watching the Red Sox?
Because they're down 8-0 after the first game. I just want to mention a couple of things, because I served with many of the people that are in this room on that regional agreement committee for 2.5 years. And we did, like Skip just said, there's a lot of work that's already been done. Right. You know, I think it failed based on about 10% of what was left in there. And I think we all kind of agree on that a lot of the work has been done. But, and I may have missed it when I was out in the hallway, but by statute, the boards of selectmen cannot create a regional agreement amendment committee. That has to be done by the school committees. So we need to make sure that they're part of that whole.
Absolutely. See, that's the kind of stuff I don't know about, so that's why.
It has to be established at the request of the school committees. The selectmen can request them to do that, and in most cases, I'm assuming they would. But let's remember that role has to be played into the middle of that.
Yeah, we will do it.
And as it relates to regionalization, deregionalization, I agree with exactly what you said, Jack. A lot of people can throw out a lot of facts. I mean, I can throw out my own facts that I've learned along the way, but it really has to be point by point. To the point that Selectman Zabrowski made when I was peeking in on television in between watching the Bruins and the Red Sox, that's why I came up, because I wanted to read what was in the report. There is information, but really not all the information that's necessary for people to make the determinations. So we want to be factual, so there's, you know, we can throw things out here tonight and people can run with it because it gets thrown out here. So you know, be careful about what's said. So thank you. Thanks for the time.
Okay, thank you. So I'd like to end the discussion of this at this point and move on to other items, and I'll be in touch with you.
I have one question, because Dean's not here. The RAC committee and this committee to study regionalization, deregionalization, what's the status of those two committees right now? The RAC committee submitted a final report, and I guess, we have a fact sheet from the other committee. So have they been disbanded?
The RAC did not submit a final report.
Oh, they didn't?
No, the RAC was disbanded.
Oh, it just disbanded?
Yes.
We couldn't agree on a final report.
So let's get all this together, though, and rather, you know, I don't mean to cut you off, but rather than, you know, look at these different, let's get it all together and then discuss again, because we'll all be more knowledgeable, at least I will. So, okay? Thank you, Mr. Ryan.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
What else you got, Skip?
Door open them
Okay, can we move on to the agenda, or you have something else?
No, we're good. Is there anything else? If you want to chat at some point, it's on the Board of Health, please give me a call.
Okay.
And other than that, does my board have anything else they'd like to do before this board?
I have one item I'd like to bring up if we can. Jack, I think 2 years ago you organized the Memorial Day Parade.
Yes.
And it was a great success. You might have heard a rumor it was going to run backwards this year.
but I know that's what's
Now it's going to reverse, it's going to run the right direction.
Well, what Dave means, you're gonna march it backwards.
We don't march out down, we march in. So I just want to set that room straight and invite anybody from Dayton that wants to participate to get a hold of our invitations.
I've been talking to Jake.
I assume you have.
He's been asking me what.
Publicly, I'd like to let everybody know
Okay, yeah.
it's on like it used to.
What's the route?
It's going from the Legion through the village up to the gazebo.
Legion is where the cannon is?
Yes.
Okay.
You can, and you will be with us this year. And we would look forward to, say I heard from you. Your participation, full participation, you know, it's not about the towns, it's about those people that served us, and, well, you very good.
I'll talk to Jake some more to make sure we, we're full.
Look forward to it, and see when we come back before that. No, I don't think we do. We meet quarterly, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, so it'll be sometime in the summer, maybe in the fall, we'll probably meet or something.
It's when the taxes come, so it's July.
It's July?
It's when the quarterly tax bills come out.
All right, so I
Basically.
guess we'll be seeing you in July then, unless something comes.
Yeah, that's the
before that.
we need to get together, we can probably do that.
Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you very much for
Thanks
coming,
for
I appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much. Lots of important things tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
If I get more information, I'll pass it on to you. Watch out.
Watch out.
It's gonna cost you.
That's the other, that's our office.
See you.
It's 8:30. One thing I'd like to do with these meetings is keep them a little shorter, so we, an hour, hour and a half. So we're gonna try and get through this. I think what I'd like to do at this point is go a little bit out of order and get down to the business. We can do the minutes at the end, and maybe the warrants at the end. Okay, one important announcement is that the deadlines for the articles to be submitted to the town meeting warrant, we've extended that to a week from today. So that's April 19th. So if any departments or want to submit any warrant articles, they need to get them to Karen by next Wednesday. Okay, let's go down to... I don't think let's go through this way, because those are the more routine ones we do every week.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick question. CPC is not going to meet until next Thursday night, so will we have until, say, Monday of the following week in order to put this out on warrant article with a placeholder?
Okay.
Can we do that?
Karen, there's already in there. So all we need are numbers from you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, just have to update the numbers. Thank you.
Okay, let's get into old business. Community compact agreement with Bread.
Serpent.
Serpent. They can't read either.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're really confused. Yep.
I think that was something
Is that the,
The draft agreement came in. I haven't had a chance to talk to Tom Ferry about that. The basic structure of it that talks about how as long as they're peaceful out there. The basic structure of what Serpent is going to do for us for the $10,000, and we've just got to go through that. As I said, it just came in. I've got to show it to Tom Ferry because he's involved with that.
Okay.
But this is the money that they are going to use to help us do the re-education program for stormwater and reducing contamination of solid waste.
so why don't we just put that on next week's agenda?
Okay.
Okay. Acknowledge request for reserve account transfer from the highway department.
Okay, what that's about is, about 3 weeks ago,
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Ferry came in and notified us that he needed to request a transfer from reserve for stormwater. We said that was okay, and we voted. The following week, we were told that we shouldn't have voted on it because the Board of Selectmen does not approve requests for transfer from reserve, only the Finance Committee does. So we reversed it, but in all honesty, the first vote was correct because we were accepting the notification that Mr. Ferry gave us that he was going to make the request. So based on that, I'm going to make a motion that we acknowledge the notification from Mr. Ferry that he was going to request a transfer from reserve for stormwater activities.
I'm going to second that, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion?
I hope not.
I hope not either.
We've discussed it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Okay, let's go to new business. The Owen Conti, the Eagle Scout, has already did his presentation. Review and discuss an act proposal for work to be performed at 495 School Street by John Delano and Associates.
Is that Jim?
Yeah, that has to do with the
Memorial.
with the memorial at the Van Kuysen property. We're going to carve out a 10-foot section to the west side of the property, and put a memorial there in order to lay out what that property was used for over the years. It was a school, it was a VFW, it was an AMVETS, it was the John Van Kuysen Hall. So, with that, I guess, I'll make a motion to approve the work on that?
Yes.
This is engineering.
Yeah, it's just that is going to be going before the ZBA next week, so it hasn't been finalized as to...
No, this is just to get the engineering done. And then it's got to go to ZBA, or maybe...
It's going to ZBA to be voted on next week,
Okay,
so
right.
I just thought we were going to start work on it, that's all.
No.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, to accept this proposal for work to be performed at 495 School Street by Mr. John Delano and Associates. Just to let the public know, the work to be performed is written property survey, prep of paper plans for zoning board of appeals submittal, preparation of a recordable Mylar for planning board endorsement, and setting iron rods at the corners of the 10 by 10 memorial parcel.
What's the cost?
And the excuse me, I'm sorry, thank you, Selectman Goulart, is $1,900 even. So again, I'm going to make that motion to accept this proposal for work to be performed at 495 School Street by Mr. John Delano and Associates.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Next item is proposal for printing and mailing of the town meeting warrant. And I guess I need one of you to discuss that because I don't know.
Prepare this.
As you all know, we had a communications committee. We were trying to figure out a way how to get town meeting warrant information out to everybody. I talked to the lady who is the town administrator or acting town administrator in Rehoboth, and they use a printing company, and this company will do everything, meaning we send the draft warrant to them, they print it on newsprint. If you've ever seen the Rehoboth warrant, it looks like the Rehoboth Reporter, only obviously it'll be less pages. We got a report back, and depending on the number of pages, 3,000 of 8 pages is $450. They also get all the information relative to the routes in town. I think we have 5 postal routes, and this will be bulk mail to resident or occupant, so forth, so on. But every home will get one. And we have a total of 2,939 boxes or addresses where these would go. And at the time of this proposal, it would cost 15.6 cents per piece delivered. This proposal was good for 30 days, so we've got to get back to them with updated information and ask them for an updated price code. So for tonight, we're not ready to vote to grant this because of the 30 the 30-day thing, but this looks like a cost-effective way to do this, especially for the annual, because it would be substantially less than we paid for those big ads that were in the paper that no one could read, and everybody in town doesn't get them. So anyhow,
We'll come back next.
this is what we've been working on, and we will have further information for everybody.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, I just wanted to, before I was elected selectman, I heard a lot about how we could possibly get the word out about town meetings, so I really want to thank Selectman Goulart for this idea and for helping it come to fruition, because I think it's fantastic. I do.
I agree 100%.
I think for the money involved, it's worth a shot, and we'll see if we can bring people out.
And for people watching, my idea was lawn signs, so I think this is.
Well, I think maybe we do both, you know, but try to get the word out to people, but come to the meetings. Okay, review, discuss and act on a recommendation from the Development Industrial Committee to appoint a new member.
Thank you, Ms. Brady. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I have a email here from Vicky Piazza, who's the chairman of that committee, and she is recommending that Amy Folks be appointed to the Development Industrial Commission. And she's got extensive management experience, good, strong leadership skills, managing projects, so it looks like a good appointment. So I'll entertain a motion to appoint Amy Folks.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, I also noted that Ms. Folks did indicate an interest in the Open Space Committee. I know that that is a committee that the town is really trying to get up and running again, so perhaps it also wouldn't hurt to reach back out to her and ask her if she'd also be willing to serve on Open Space as well.
You know, what we're talking about committees, that's maybe a good segue into it. On election day, I was trying to recruit people to participate in these committees, and what I kept hearing, what does that committee do? So I think we might, we'll discuss it, but have like an open house, if you will, or have the committee chairs come on like a Thursday evening and just be present. So if people want to know about these committees before they sign up for them, they can ask questions, they can find out. So I welcome any input on that.
Absolutely. I also think as we redo the new website,
Right.
We could put each board, commission, committee's mission statement on their subpage so that people really have an idea of what that specific committee or board does.
Exactly.
Could I see her paperwork so I can get her name, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next item is review, discuss, and act on the resignation of Jack Taylor from Open Space Committee, Land Use Committee, Cable Committee, and Community Preservation Committee. So,
Sure. This is from Mr. John Jack Taylor, 1795 Wheeler Street, North Dayton, Massachusetts, 02715, dated April 12th, 2017. Selectman Goulart, Selectman Zagrafos, Dayton Hall, 975 Somerset Ave. Dear Selectmen, as a result of my election to the Board of Selectmen on April 8th, 2017, and in accordance with General Law, Chapter 268A, the Conflict of Interest Law, as amended by Chapter 194, Acts of 2011, Section 268A, 8A, members of state commissions or boards prohibited appointments to other positions, I am submitting my resignation from the following committees: Open Space Committee, Land Use Committee, Cable Committee, and the Community Preservation Committee. Sincerely, Jack Taylor.
Motion to accept.
And I will second that motion.
I would recuse myself from voting, but all in favor? Say aye.
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 Motion carries.
With thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Your continued service.
Yeah, right. Let's see which is more time-consuming, that or this. I suspect this will be. Okay, to get back on track here with what we have to do. About that. We have a correspondence from a Somerset resident, which I thought was very nice.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman.
This is an email from Guy Borges from Somerset. And let me read it to you. Although they live at a pretty safe distance from the fire at County and Buffington and was not in immediate danger, this is the fire that occurred last week. I wish to extend my thanks to all of the Dayton Fire Department personnel who participated in putting out the fire on Sunday and helping to limit the danger of spread. The extra hazard of ammunition to firefighters is notable and merits even greater recognition for the Dayton Fire Department than a typical fire. It is great to have such good neighbors ready to help out in a crisis, and I think I would have the same sentiments. I think it was terrific that our guys went down there and helped out, and a lot of communities from around, so it kind of shows you the camaraderie between communities, even though they have to do it, but I think it's really notable. So I would thank Mr. Borges for his email, and sure. Any comments? Or?
No, I would just like to thank the men and women of Dayton Fire Department for responding and helping our brothers and sisters out in Somerset.
Okay. Let's do this is really way out of order. We have a Dayton recipient of the UMass Provost Research Scholarship Award.
Thank you. Yep. So I received news from a Dayton resident pertaining to an award that two Dayton students received, two Dayton Rehoboth Regional High School students received. So I'll just read the email from the resident. This is Mr. Russell Allen who sent me this. He said, Brett, Michaela Silva and Megan Gustafson from Dayton are seniors at DR High School. Both were accepted into UMass Amherst and selected to attend UMass Amherst Honors College. Congratulations, ladies. They also received a letter from the provost at UMass detailing that they would receive the Provost Research Scholarship Award at a special reception at the UMass Club. We attended the event this past Tuesday night. I took Michaela and her mother and Megan. Not knowing what to expect, we met there and were directed up to the 32nd floor. The building was beautiful. The girls were in awe looking out the large windows. They were greeted by distinguished UMass faculty and also some student mentors. They seem to be well known because of their academic achievement at DR High School. The interesting part is that as the evening proceeded, they were informed that these two DR students were selected out of 42,000 students. So we had two students from DR out of 42,000 who got the award. So anybody familiar with statistics knows that that is not so likely. So I did want to commend Michaela and Megan on their achievement. Congratulations, ladies. And they also got the Dean Scholarship Award. So they got a lot of money.
Congratulations. Okay. Just one last. We have an anonymous donation.
I just want to get the name spelled right.
We have an anonymous donation from to the Council on Aging in the amount of $347.
Mr. Chairman.
And this is a memo from Alice Souza. A $347 donation was made to the COA and was deposited. The town accountant and town treasurer have been notified. So whoever made that donation, we're very grateful.
You have to make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Waiting on you.
I second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize for all the... You want to do the announcements?
Sure. Okay. Trash, bags, sharps disposal containers, and recycling stickers are all for sale at the Board of Selectmen's office. Please call 508-669-6431 for more information. Burning season is now through May 1st, 2017. Permits may be obtained at Dayton Fire Station, 300 Main Street for $10. Please make checks payable to the town of Dayton. Checks only, please. There are vacancies on the Historical Commission, Cable Commission, Open Space Committee, and the Cemetery Commission. Also, the Green Communities Grant Committee has 1 seat open. Funeral services will be held for David Phillips at the Community Church at 11 a.m. on Saturday, April 15th, with a graveside service to follow. Due to the holiday, there will be a 1-day delay in trash pickup next week, April 17th through April 21st of 2017. Senator Mark Pacheco or a representative will be at Town Hall on Tuesday, April 18th from 1 to 2 p.m. Please call 508-823-0095 to make an appointment. Walk-ins are also welcome. The Dayton Historical Society will be holding a psychic fair on April 22nd, 2017 at the Taunton Yacht Club, 2125 Water Street, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be psychic readings, craft vendors, baked goods, Dayton memorabilia, and a cash bar. To reserve craft table space, call Patty at 508-436-3105. The Dayton Lions Food Bank distribution will be held on April 22nd, 2017 in the lower level of Town Hall from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Hydrant flushing is being conducted now through April 21st, 2017 between the hours of 8 p.m. and 3 a.m. This program will result in discolored water and periods of low water pressure. Please check your water before using. The Water District cannot be held responsible for any damages incurred as a result of the flushing program, which is a necessary and normal maintenance function. Town of Dayton Neighborhood Cleanup will be held Saturday, April 29th, 2017, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Meetup will occur at the transfer station on Tremont Street. Please bring gloves and wear appropriate clothing. As our building commissioner, Mr. Aguirre, has reported, there are a lot of ticks out there, so please dress appropriately. There will be a rabies clinic on April 29th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the North Dayton Fire Station. $12 for immunizations, cash only will be accepted. The town clerk will also be available at that time for dog licensing. Bulky items pickup is scheduled for the week of May 22nd through May 29th. Tags for items are available for sale in the Selectmen's office, and the flyer can be found on the homepage of our beautiful Town of Dayton website. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Karen, just for the record, what's the date for the hazardous waste collection day?
Scheduled for May 13th.
All right, and the Touch a Truck event?
June
3rd.
3rd at the time.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I know it's 9 in the morning till 2.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's get back to the more mundane stuff. The approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 29th, 2017, and the minutes of the executive session meeting of March 29th, 2017.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We'll sign those. Approval of the warrants.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve warrant number 41A-17 in the amount of $81,725.80. Warrant number 41B-17 in the amount of $97,004.63. And warrant number 41C-17 in the amount of $560.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carry. Okay, we'll sign these. Do either one of you have reports, or?
I attended meetings at DEP yesterday and MMA today, and I photoed some handouts so you can review them, and I've got to write up a summary, and then I'll probably report back, possibly at a Board of Health meeting.
Great, okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Selectman Goulart.
Public input.
Good evening. I'd like to, Tim Ryan's 316 Main Street. I'd like to thank the Board of Selectmen for having me this evening. Just want to touch on the recent Easter egg hunt that we had behind Town Hall for the Parks and Recreation Commission. It was a complete success. We received approximately 125 pounds of food for the community food bank. which will be distributed. We had some leftover items, and we're putting together some Easter baskets, or some baskets for the children to be given out at the food bank. I just happened to hear it mentioned about, it's tick season, and it's also gonna be mosquito season. I just want to let everybody know that. If you want to use our fields at any location in town, or any of our parks or recreational areas, please, again, it's mosquito season, please dress properly, you know, wear, you know, your repellent with DEET specifically, and that's all I have. I noticed that just recently that the field behind us is being used extensively by men's softball, church league at night. The girls at Bristol Plymouth are still utilizing the field. I'll give a brief update. The Recreation Commission is...
Bristol Aggie.
I'm sorry, Bristol Aggie, I'm sorry. The Highway Department, in conjunction with the town electrician, is reinstalling a new electrical panel at the School Street Field in North Dayton. And hopefully that's going to be done shortly. I have a contacted TMLP that I'd like to get in touch with to see if we can get some new metal halide bulbs put in at the field so all the lights are operable. I think that in the future, the Recreation Department would like to look at doing LED lighting as we had done down the tennis courts. It would be just, you know, more cost efficient and less of a burden on what our budget is yearly. Again, I was going to say that, you know, please come and use our recreational areas in town. Be respectful about this. Clean up the facility as you leave, and please, you know, there are 4 areas in town where you can walk your dogs. Just don't bring it to our playgrounds. You know, there's Broad Cove Nature Trail, there's Tricentennial Park, I'm sorry, there's 3, and there's Osprey Landing. But again, there is a bylaw that requires you to pick up your waste, but please, you know, bring your animals there and have fun. Let's have a great, enjoyable spring and summer. Thank you.
Great. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ryan. Thank you very much. Any other public input? Okay. I just want to say again, I'm honored to sit here and be part of this committee, or this board. And again, I want to emphasize that I hope people will come down here, they'll talk to us, they'll let us know what your concerns are. And you don't assume that we know anything. We need to know what you know. If you have an issue, don't assume that we know that issue. So I really encourage people to come down and talk to us. Call me, call one of us if we can do anything for you. And I will say this: we won't always agree on things, and we won't always be able to satisfy what you might think we should do. But we'll do our best, and we'll be honest with you, and we'll not. We'll just keep the communication open. So again, I want to thank you again. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
Good night, Cable.
Night, Cable.
You know, it's, can't look at the monitor because it's delayed.
It is